I welcome to our system for the research of the truth, not the newcomers, because we are already in the meaning of the research of the truth. But I have to welcome you with all my heart and wish you just to honor your white robe by honoring you, the white robe also, having it. Now, what is the Holy Communion in the Christian churches? What is the communion of love which we make here? Which is the difference? In which way they are like? Now, the Holy Communion is for the forgiveness of sins conducted by the Church. Any domination is that what we call it, in any dogma. And who is making the Holy Communion? Not the priest or the minister. It is the archangels. Christ said, wherever there are 2 or 3 gathered in my name, I am amongst them. That was a statement true. That's true that wherever there are 2 or 3 gathered in the name of Christ, Christ is amongst them, because Christ is all the time in us. Our self is part of his logoic selfhood. But for us just to realize that, he gave us just not order, just this instruction. The bread, the wine, the water is my blood. Take it to remember me and to have me in you. How do we do the communion of love? By the instructions of Joshua the Christ at the beginning, later by Yohanan and others, until today. First of all, the one who is doing the communion of love should be strong in the visualization. He should know what he is doing by invoking Joshua to come in it and be with us. So, first of all, I clean the wine and the water from any material influence to make it ready to get the Lord. Then I ask him mentally, you said wherever there are 2 or 3 gathered in your name, you are amongst them. Of course, I use now my expression, cup my love, because for me the greatest love. Then I raise the cup and I visualize on the cup a brilliant sun, and the cup is the sun. That is my visualization. Then I stop it, and of course this sun, if not accepted by him, will diminish its light and remain nothing. But when I see and I call him, I invoke him, and I take off my mind, I see the sun brighter. That means he accepted it. He's amongst us. Then, fixing my attention in the sun, I see him as I knew him. Then I have to be kneeling and put down and kneel. And he's with us all the time. Now, that he is with us, that he was with us all the time, that's a fact. That he is more now with us, and we can realize him being with us more. This is what we are doing But this doesn't mean that it's only this hour that He's with us in our hearts. Because we do it according to the customs of getting Him in our material world here. In reality, we should make the chalice our hearts and accept Him there always and at any moment. But that is after we get what we call the baptism of fire and spirit, which comes gradually later, by offering Him, not the cup, the wine and the water, but offering Him His blood. Our blood is His blood. Our flesh, His flesh, our real heart, making it a chalice, and ask Him to honor it. He is doing it. That He's making to us the baptism of fire and spirit, which is not just for a moment. It continues, maybe for centuries. So, we should know just what it means, the communion of love. Now come to others. Why we use in the 10th center the pyramid on a four-sided basis. They put me this question many, because that center is what we call the material world for us, and the material body, of course. And in it, all the essences of the divinity. So that pyramid represents us. This is the very beginning. Now, what do we have in a pyramid? We have a four-sided, call it floor. Let us call it floor. Crown. It's the material body, composed of the four elements: ether, fire, air, water, and clay, earth. That's the symbolism of the material body. But now we have four triangular sides. The one side on our right reflects the red light. It's all lighted. God is light. Life is light. Love is light. So, the holy archangels of the order of the Michaels reflect the red light. So it is that side, that triangular side, which is their realm. Now, when we make that side, we don't make it solid. It's just like fire. It isn't solid. Now, on our left side is that triangular side with the violet light, which is the realm of the Raphaels, the archangels of the etheric vitality, of energy, electricity, magnetism, and all that, as we will see later, in attunement with them. The side behind us is bluish or sky blue light. That's the realm of Gabriel, the Lord of the liquids, all kinds of liquids, running material liquids. The front of us side is golden light. That's the realm of the Logos of Joshua Emmanuel the Christ. So, we have the four elements and the four states of beingness and existence. So, the symbolism is full. Για να και πούμε ελληνικά νομίζω, τα κατέχετε. Τι? Τα κατέχετε τούτα, είπαμε τα πολλές φορές. Now, this is the meaning of the pyramid. The pyramid is composed of equal-sided triangles. The triangle. What's the triangle? What is for us the seekers of the truth? The triangle. It's our nature as the microcosmos. And it is the triangular, this triangle with equal sides, also the symbol of the macrocosmos, which means the Trinity. So, a triangle is composed of 3 equal sides and 3 squares. The square up in the triangle is the absolute infinite beingness. That means God, the Father. Now, we have 2 lower corners, on our right, which is the Logos Christ. In the other side is the Holy Spirit. So we have them, the big triangle. One triangle divided into 3 triangles. The upper one, the one at the right and the other at the left. What's the triangle coming down, separated into 2 again triangles, unequal triangles now. What's that? It's our qualities as human beings. When we will create the symbol of life in our etheric double, we see that triangle coming down will coincide with the 2 lobes of our brains in our heads. They have the dark color, the lower part, the red and the violet color. That is the darkness already prevailing now on the human brains for the time being. But you have in between pathway leading to God. You have the upwards pathway, which is from the material plane, 3 steps, that means mastering matter, emotion, and thought, then going to what we call the solar plexus. There we have the 5-pointed star. You have the circle, which means eternity. You have in the 5-pointed star. What 5 means, we'll explain it later. You have 5 fingers on our hands, 5 toes on our feet, 5 senses. Why 5? Because it has a meaning in the divine plan. So we have the 5-pointed star. 5 and 5 is 10, the complete union of the numbers. Joshua Christ said a parable about the 10 virgins, the 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish virgins. That means the 2 aspects of the senses. So, that the center, we call it number 8, you'll work on it. Well, Yoda will give you that. Is the psychical plane, and it corresponds on our etheric double with our solar plexus. Then going upwards, you go to the sun. What is the sun? The heart, fire, luminosity. So we see around it a sun, red color, that means governed by Michael, the Lord of light and fire, heat. then I have in it a 6-pointed star. A 6-pointed star is complete, while the 5-pointed is incomplete. 5-pointed star is the symbol of the personality of man undergoing experiences to reach perfection. So the 5-pointed star is not complete. What is complete is the triangle and the 6-pointed star. So we have the 6-pointed star, a symbol in our heart. And in it, you have the cross. What is the meaning of the cross now? It might have religious meaning, but in reality for us, the cross are the 4 elements. Going up is the etheric vitality. On the other side is fire, the right side. The left side is water or the element of the liquid. And the down, which is longer, it is our material body, or matter as it is the matter. And that symbol of the cross existed long before the crucifixion of Joshua the Christ. You find them to the Aztecs, to the Incas, to the old Egyptians, to Babylonians, to all the countries of the world as a symbol of the 4 elements. So, working with the cross, we will work on the 4 elements. Now, let us see in our personality what these elements correspond to. The matter, as we have it, the clay, is our human brains, which is not the mind. It is the battery, and the mind is the electricity. And we said in many lessons that the mind is everywhere because it is the omnipresence of God, of the absolute infinite beingness. So, to have it on the material plane in a human being, we'll have it through the 2 lobes of the material in the head, which is our brains. That means the clay there. The other principle, the water, in our body is corresponding to the red hot blood running in our body. That is the seat of the Logos, of the Holy Spirit, and all the archangels, because in the red hot blood it is the liquid element, it is the fire, the heat in it, the liquid, the fire, and the etheric vitality in it. So, we see the correspondences in our body and in our personality. Now, what is the mind? We have seen the materialistic point of view. What's the mind? The mind belongs to the Logos and to the Holy Spirit. That's why the thoughts, in the head, you have the 2 lobes. The Holy Spiritual and the Logoic. You have twice. He means of the Logos and of the Holy Spirit. Now, later in exercises, when we direct it to currents, blending them to give the vitality to the eyes, to the ears, to the nose, to the 2 lobes of the brain, we'll understand how these organs are serving the personality of a human being. So it's not only a religious thing, but a scientific. which is proved by exercises and by reason. So, now we come to the lesson of today. What is the mind? We said that the mind is the emanation from the absolute infinite beingness, the Logos, of the will pleasure of manifesting itself in itself. And we said everything is the mind. That means all the elements are in the mind. The mind is light. The mind is fire. The mind are those vibrations we call emotions, attraction and repulsion in life, in nature. The mind is the material world, the material body. Everything is mind. So the mind is the means by the vibrations of which many kinds of vibrations and frequencies, the archangels, each order belonging to an order, are creating everything. Now, for us, the mind is concerning us as what? Now, this lesson I'm giving, it was given by Joshua Manuel the Christ. Of course, not openly to the public, but to his disciples, the healers. Now, the mind is light, the light. We hear the word light. Immediately we think that light is only the etheric vibrations emanating from the sun, or reflected after striking of certain solid objects. That's one form of the light. We have the light, the unextinguishable light, which is the mind in its everlasting state. So, through our eyes, we can interpret and conduct what we call the material light. But the material light is doing what? Going, striking, rebounding, how we call it, being reflected and reaching us, reaching our eyes. Good. But the same thing the light is doing it on our nose, on our fingers, on our forehead, on our hair, on our ears. The reflection is there. You put just a mirror near your eye and you'll see that reflection. But all these organs are not giving any sensation. Only when it gives an image on the eye, the one eye, or both the eyes, then what happens? That light and image is giving certain vibrations, and irritation, is that the word irritation? On the optical nerve, which is material. And that irritation, those vibrations, those frequencies of the light vibrations, are now in contact with the inner light, which is in our etheric double. Then we say, we see. Nobody can see unless he has in him the light, so that the rays of the light from outside, reflected, can give the impressions. You didn't know that. You see with your inner light and not with the outside light, which is only the sensation carrier. Of course, in introspection, in the course of time you find out this truth. What is the inner light? is the mind. Different rate of vibrations. We will work with this light, which for us will become a reality. How? By visualization. We must learn the nature of the inner light. Do we use this inner light? Do common people use the inner light? Unconsciously and subconsciously, yes, not consciously. But we use it now self-consciously, knowing what we will be doing by it. Now, do you understand what does it mean? Visualization? Now, I will find this visualization, which is our divine nature, in two states of existence, not yet of being, which seeing through the inner light, and the other constructing using our willpower. I can formulate this inner light into anything I want to know. I want to know. Now we have two other things. I want to see, and I want to see and know. Knowing. So it is by the inner light we know things, not by the outside light, which is only carrier of sensations. So, we have to practice so that this skill will become the skill even of the present day personality, because unless we reach to that stage, we cannot understand that we are the reflection of another reality, which is our inner self. And we shall see our inner self and conceive our inner self through the inner light, which is, again, Joshua, he cries, I am the light of the world. He didn't say I am the light of the sun. And when he, as the light of the world on Tabor, reflected the sun from him in what it was, what we say, transfiguration. But who really understood what it was transfiguration? Now, what is the relation between the inner light and the elements? The light of the sun needs the element of fire to vibrate in such rate of vibrations to give us the sensation of the light. But now, what is the inner light? Does it come from reflection or from material and solid thing? No. It comes from within, from our own beingness. How do we understand it? Exercising our divine nature of observation. We exercise what we call our willpower. What's the willpower now? In constructing through the inner light, shall we call it forms, living forms? I would call them elementals of higher grade, because we'll classify the elementals to many, many classes later, according to their value and purity. So, now you will understand the importance of visualization. I have given an exercise many times, but nobody really understood what it was. We have this flower. You see it. How do you see it? The light all around strikes on it. It is reflected and leaves this. We call it image. Just as big as the head of a pin, somewhere in the retina of the eye. Yet I see it in its size. How is that? That little image in my eye makes me see it in what I say the normal size. Just think of it. How? Why not see it? It is as tiny as the head of a pin. There are nothing more than that. Since it is the reflection that gives the irritation, and the irritation through the optical nerve to centers of my brain. But is the clay brain that is doing the work, or something behind it? Now, here's the mystery. We are out in all the places we are aware of without knowing it. And I see it through the inner light, not through the radiation from the sun, because the radiations are giving me sizes according to the distance of the rays. Now, it needs much exercise to understand this great truth. Now we go a step forward. I see it in my inner light. I can judge now size. So I tell you that is nothing more than sensing that little, like the head of the pin, image in my eye. I said, I'm out. Without knowing it, then I see it. If I put it down, and I close my eyes, and reconstruct it in my thought, which means visualization, in which light I am working now. Many heard the word visualization, but who analyzed it to understand what it is? What is that work? Of course, we should practice, even as human beings, as a personality, to get the skill of working with what we call the inner light. Close your eyes and see it. Size. When I say size, it is not the size of that, like the head of the pin, little image of my eye or irritation in my head, but being also out of that, being in me. What am I in this state of life, living and being? Now you understand that you are not only the material body. No, subconsciously you cannot understand that you are great in conceiving, seeing and understanding things. So, now we start visualization. See it. As you see it, you got that image in you. It is in the inner light. You can repeat it, visualize it, and see it. Well, it needs practice. Seeing it with the inner light, we can contact in this way, from another angle, the vitality, the mind vitality. I don't call it etheric vitality now. I call it mind vitality, because I work from higher realms with different vibrations. If I know how to visualize, exercise my willpower, and having the mind vitality granted to me, I can materialize anything I like. Joshua the Christ was teaching that to his disciples. I heard it with my own ears. Though I was only 13 years old boy, I knew it. I knew how he was doing it. I was present this time he fed the 5,000, holding the basket with Yohanan. How he did it. He got the ready-to fish, fried fish, put them in a basket. The loaves of bread, put them in a basket, bless them, started visualizing them and materializing them. From the other hand, he was getting a fish, so big, fried. The piece of bread, give one fish and one loaf of bread to each one. 5,000 men, except the women and the children. How did he do it? Now you know how. Visualizing and materializing it. Transforming through or transmuting. Transforming or transmuting. The etheric vitality through his body into fish and bread. Could he not do anything else? Anything he wanted, he could do. Being the master of the visualization and the materialization. What are the archangels doing? Are they not materializing the etheric mind light into everything we see all around us? Can you imagine how this material world is made of? Why can you not do that? I'm telling you, you can do that if you know the way how to do it. But you cannot do it as a black magician, because it is very, very limited, the power passing through the personality egoism. But in the hands of God, of the soul ego self, Christ said everything is possible to God. Now, I say great truths which you have to analyze, understand, and maybe work with them to the extent you can, and you will be permitted for the time being. So, the transmutation of metals is a reality. It's not a lie or a dream. So that's the truth. Now, in which of the centers will do that work? Because on those centers we have to develop what we call the self-consciousness. Now, in all those centers you'll find all states of what I call consciousness. But the consciousness is on various steps and stage. Can I have on the center number 10 in the pyramid and exercising myself to the visualization, transforming, and now I think that's the better word, transforming the mind light into forms and images. Can I have all those states of consciousness living in a material body and being in the center number 10? Yes, of course. But you need to develop them. And how? By being able to raise the instinctive or sensitive, just we call it sense, to subconsciousness, consciousness, self-consciousness, self-superconscious. These are not just only terms and words. These are states of life and of beingness. So you have to work for each of these steps on different centers. But we can have all these states of consciousness even in the center number 10. Emotional work, it will be done on center number 8. More work, love is love, life, light, it will be on the center number 6. that means in the heart. But we have a solar plexus and the heart even in our material body. You have also the two lobes of brain, which corresponds to those rhythms. In the one triangle, in three triangles. So, this is of great importance. Of course, this lesson as I gave it, it will not be mentioned in the book. Because these are lessons for the inmost even circle. It's not for the public. Now, what are the symbols of this great truth? First of all, the ankh. You don't see it there. But you can see it everywhere, in and out of the symbol of life, because the ankh is the life. Then, what is next? Which we can use first in visualization, because we'll need it. Because unless you use it, you'll not have to self-conscious contact with the archangelic order. The flame of fire. The one flame or the triple flame. This will do it when we dress ourselves with our archangelic form. Because we are archangels also. And not only human beings, clay and earth. Because these are exercises which we will do. So, you know the importance now of the symbol of life. And we have to construct it by visualization and willpower on an etheric double of our material body. And construct it now with the similar colors, but lighter hues, the etheric double of our emotional body, or psychical body. That we will construct it again on our nautical body. How? On the material planet, the etheric double is the gathering of images, elementals, and forces. According to the Apocalypse, the church assemblies, the church of Ephesus, the church of Jerusalem, and all that. That is the meaning in the Apocalypse. How do you call it? Yes. But in our psychical body, Yohanan, who gave this great revelation, called them lamps, not gathering of elements. Lamps, that mean light. We spoke about light now. And those lamps are just flames of the divine inner light. What are on the centers of the noetical body? Stars. He spoke about 7 churches, 7 lamps, and 7 stars. We'll explain it more than the revelation when we reach to bigger stages of study. So, you will work on this symbol of life. So that's a book. What I said, what we learn, is not only the book. It is the power and the truth in the book. So, it will be great work. Do you have any questions? I think you have. Yes. You don't have any question?
I don't think so.
I think you have. You have within you the question, what is the inner light? Did you understand it properly?
I think I need time to understand.
Yes, need time, and we shall just gradually, slowly explain it. What's intuition? What is ecstasy? You have used these words, but they have inner meaning, and we should enter in the inner meaning, and then in the inmost meaning. What's intuition? Many people use this word, but what does it mean to each one of us? Intuition. Ecstasis. What's ecstasy? In ecstasis, you enter in the inner light. And then in the ecstasis, you are using the mind light now. In ecstasis, you enter in the inner light. And then in the ecstasis, you are using the mind light now. Πάνω αυτά μαγνητικά ρευστά μες στο κορμί μας. Now, you other want more explanation on the etheric current. How you use it?
It's not me, it's Elizabeth who wants the explanation.
No. Let us see how we do it. First of all, the seat of it is what we call the basis of the spine. The Hindus call it Kundalini, and all that. In Greek we call it holy fire, or the holy bone, for your own of two. Now, it is there. Now, when we awaken up this, it doesn't go like that. It is spiral. That this constant works. Happily, people do not know it. That is why they are not successful in working with it. So, now, the first movement from the right is behind. It comes forward, sit forward, passing through the solar plexus, under the left arm, coming right to the shoulder blade and going under our arm, the right arm. Starts going up and ending here. Going up. The other comes from in front of us, the left, going backwards, coming, passing through the solar plexus, and returning in here. So it is like that. See it. But it needs practice to do it. Just move.
Το δεξί είναι το χρώμα να έχει εγώ.
See?
Ποιο χρώμα είναι το δεξί? What color is the right and what color
What
is
color?
the left here?
When it comes from behind, starting in the right, it's red color. Comes here, reaches here, and this set it gets the violet color. Coming up, becoming red again, and the red color takes this place here. When it comes from here, it is violet color. Coming from, passing the solar plexus, going from the solar plexus becomes red. Then, going in this color, becomes again violet, till it comes. So, it starts red, and goes under this place red. When it starts violet, it ends violet. But now it needs practice. Now, before succeeding to that, we have to see moving on one direction only. That is to say, one of the exercises you will do in future is to breathe deeply, see a blue or sky blue ball in the belly, coming in front, backwards, sideways, and see this sky blue ball of light separated into two hemispheres, and see that the disk you are separating the two hemispheres has the same center with the center of the ball. This is not very difficult exercise to do. Then concentrate on the lower part of the disc. Then start moving upwards towards the right, breathing 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Having a center the solar plexus. Stay there. 6 and then breathing again 6, you go down. They are remaining down there until you exhale 6, then go up for some time. So you inscribe a circle only. These are the exercises you have to do to get practice. Because later we'll do the other movement on the ball. And all the time we will see the light. Here is blue or sky blue light. We will be working with the inner light. Later we shall make the rosy, or in the chest in front of us and behind. Then having the heart as the center of the ball and of the disc. Then we start from the solar plexus, from the navel. 6 beats of the heart going up. Under this, coming to the thyroid. So we have the heart in the center. Then going down under the arm, going again to the solar plexus. Now, exercises of the head are different. We don't need just to circle these like that, but concentrate on certain parts of the head in a different way. So we have the circles in the belly and in the chest. These are the exercises you will give not to the public, of course, but to the circles later. What are these exercises doing? They make us masters of the kinetic and aesthetic ether. And before becoming masters of kinesis, motion, movement or motion, you cannot become later masters on the creative ether. So, with these exercises, we practice getting mastery first on the imprinting ether, seeing it, on the kinetic ether, feeling the movement, on the feeling ether, you feel the movement. You are working on the three qualities of your etheric double. I think we have given in many lessons full explanation of what we are doing. Yeah. So, further. Τι?
Για ερώτηση να κάνω δασκαλή.
Να την κάνεις δυνατά να ακούω γιατί γέρασα. Ναι.
Μιλάς μας για σφαίρες.
Ναι.
Μιλάς μας για δίσκους.
Ναι.
Όμως μας εξήγησες τι είναι η σφαίρα και τι είναι ο δίσκος.
Ο Χριστός τι πάει, έδειξε συνταμονή σφαίρα. Ένα φουτμπολ έδειξε συνταμονή.
Ναι, αλλά πού είπε.
Ένα δίσκο δεν έδειξε συνταμκιάτο.
Στο ψυχικό, στο νοητικό, τι συμβολίζει.
Πας στο διπλούν εθερικό θα το κάνεις προς το παρόν.
Ναι, συμφωνώ.
Αργότερα να τα κάνεις. αργότερα δεν θα κάνεις δίσκωση στο ψυχικό εθερικό. Και κάτω έχουμε λάμπες, δεν έχουμε σύναξης. Ναι, λοιπόν, τούτη η δουλειά είναι μόνο πάνω στο διπλό εθερικό του υλικού σώματος προς το παρόν. Αργότερα είναι άλλη δουλειά πιο δύσκολη. Δεν θα δουλεύεις στον κόσμο των 4 διαστάσεων και όχι των 3 διαστάσεων. Εμάς έτσι ο Χριστός, τα γίνα και μην να σας πω για τα ουράνια.
Όχι, αλλά εντάξει, δουλειά που κάνουμε είναι αξιόμενα που κάνουμε.
Δηλαδή αργότερα σε αλληλεσάρκους εννοείς.
Τι?
Δηλαδή αργότερα.
Όχι, δεν τα κάνεις.
Εννοείς σε αλληλεσάρκωση.
Μπορεί να σας τα πει άλλος δρόμο να κάνετε διαλογισμό. Και είμαι μόνο εγώ δάσκαλος, εσείς κι άλλους. Μέσα σας, γύρω σας, πάνω σας.
Τώρα από τα αγγλικά, για να πεις τα αγγλικά να πούμε. About the inner light. In the church service we said we have seen the true light and we have received the divine spirit.
Και σταραβάρα τους στη μαύρη που είδα.
Ναι, αλλά είναι, they are referring to the inner light. They are referring to the light.
Ναι, αλλά εκείνη δεν τη βλέπω.
Ναι, αλλά that's what
In the Orthodox Church,
they preach for this in church.
in the Orthodox Church, in the time of the service, they say, we have seen the divine light and we have received through the Holy Spirit. And I told him, it's an imagination of the they haven't seen it. They just say the words. Εγώ όποτε τους ακούσω να πούν το είδαμε το φως το αληθινό.
At least it is a wishful thinking. We should see the inner light and
Λοιπόν,
receive the
όποτε
divine
είμαι
spirit.
στην εκκλησία και ακούω τον παπά να πει το είδωμον το φως του αληθινών, ελάβομαι πνεύμα στη μετανό του που μέσα μου τη στραβάρα σου τη μαύρη που θόρυ. Δεν μπορεί να δει το φως του αληθινό και να μην σαν τον άλλον παπά ή τον κόσμο.
Δάσκαλε, το ιερό πυρ,
Ναι.
που είναι στο ιερό δίσκο, το ιερό στου, έχει έντονη δράση,
Ναι.
στο κέντρο της γης και στο κέντρο της πώς και γιατί.
Δεν μπορεί αυτόν το φως.
Στο εξωτερικό,
Τι?
τι είναι.
Η ουράνια αγάπη. Η αγάπη είναι φωτιά, κατάλαβε το. Και κάποιος μύστης Ιταλός που το διαισθάνθηκε ο Δάντης είπε «Σε l'amor qui muove il sole e l'altre stelle». Είναι η αγάπη που κινεί τον ήλιο και τα άστρα, το πάνω. Τώρα, τι είναι η αγάπη? Repulsion. Έλξης.
Γιατί είναι συντοπισμένη μέσα στο ιερό στο δίσκο γύρω.
Εντοπίζεται για να μπορέσει να δώσει δράση πάνω στο υλικό σώμα ενός ανθρώπου. Δηλαδή στην πραγματικότητα η γενική δεν είναι εντοπισμένη. Εντοπίζεται, είναι μεσοκοσμικός μες στη γη. Μικροκοσμικός είναι του ιερόνοστού. Μακροκοσμικός είναι παντού. Πρέπει να δούμε που ποια πλευρά βλέπουμε. Ναι.
Μάλιστα.
Φωτογραφία μου να βρεις. Όχι, τη δεύτερη εβδομάδα του Μάη. Τη δεύτερη εβδομάδα του Μάη. Τη δεύτερη εβδομάδα.